Hello everyone, this is Jason White. Welcome to the highlights package for round 5 of our 1965 F1 series, coming to you from Silverstone in England. This is the midway point of our series, and get ready for a classic slipstreaming battle. There is the circuit layout, 4.711 kilometers around, 80 laps are on the board. This is the classic layout of Silverstone, the one that is built purely for speed. Very different from the Silverstone in the 1990s with all those twists and turns. Let's take a look at the point standings going into today's race. For the drivers, Giovanni Santarami leads with 22 points, Tim Hillett in second with 12, Nicholas Kirsten and John Team tied with 11 points apiece, and then you have Juha Boss and David Watman tied for 5th with 10 points apiece. In the manufacturer's points, Ferrari is in the lead with 24 points, Brabham Climax in second with 17, Cooper Climax in third with 11, BRM and Lotus Climax are tied for 4th with 10 points apiece, and then you have Lotus BRM in 6th with 4 points. And here's the point scheme one more time: 9 points for a win, 6 points for second, 4 for third, 3 for fourth, 2 for fifth, and 1 for 6th. You have to complete 75% of the race distance to be eligible for points. And as far as the manufacturer's points are concerned, it's the top car of each make that scores the points. Coming up at ISO, round 6 of this series, it's the Dutch Grand Prix from Zandvoort, a little less than a week away, Sunday, March 22nd. The race will start at 2000 CET, and there will be a highlights package to follow in the days ahead. Trivia question for you to ponder: who won the first World Championship Formula One race held at Silverstone in 1950? Was it A, Reg Parnell? Was it B, Nino Farina? Or was it C, Louis Chiron? We'll have the answer for you later on in this highlights package. All right, so let's take a look at the grid. On the pole is David Watman in his Jim Clark Lotus with a time of 1 minute 30.707. David has qualified very well throughout the series so far, but he has yet to win. We'll see if that changes today in the British Grand Prix. Alongside David, we have the first of the BRMs in the hands of Juha Boss. He's a little more than 0.6 of a second behind David's pole-winning time, and remember, Juha Boss was the winner last time out in the Belgian Grand Prix. Going to the third position, and this is a 3-2-3-2 grid for the Silverstone circuit. We have Tim Hille in his NART Ferrari number 24. Tim is the co-admin of this series, and he is very fast in these cars. Going to the next row of 2 cars, we have the first of the factory Ferraris in the hands of Giovanni Santarami. He won the French Grand Prix and the South African Grand Prix in this car, and he's a definite favorite to win today with all that Ferrari horsepower behind him. Alongside Giovanni, we have the second factory Lotus in the hands of Ray Radal. This is the furthest up in the grid that Ray has been so far, if memory serves, and he'll be looking to have a great result today for Team Lotus. Now the bottom half of the top 10, which begins with car number 9. This is John Team in his Cooper Climax entry. These are very nimble cars and very quick cars. I would look to see them do very well on this Silverstone circuit. And next to John, we have the second Cooper Climax, number 10, in the hands of Cezariusz Lipinski, who's also very quick in these cars. We'll see if he can break into the top 5 before the race is finished. And on the outside of the number 10 car, we have the number 1 factory Ferrari in the hands of Richard Wilkes, our physics guru. Again, he knows more about these cars than anybody else, but he is surrounded by a lot of talent, so we'll see how he fares in today's race. Now going to the next row, 9th and 10th, we have Brian Janik in the number 7. Very quick car, and Janik obviously a very quick driver. And alongside him is another Brabham, number 14, and this one is in the hands of a very capable driver, Grant Radal, who we all expect to do well anytime he gets into a car, but we'll see how he can do from 10th place on the grid. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of the grid. Anders Nielsen starting 11th, Ruben Fernandez starting 12th, 13th is Nicholas Kirsten, the Monaco winner, and then Johnny Aces in 14th for RRC Walker Racing. Gabriel Del Piccolo starts 15th, Adam Hackman is in 16th, Rob DeVries in 17th, and August Watring in his new ride starts 18th. Mikael Drexler in the first of the Hondas is 19th. Wilmer Janssen in another one-off drive is 20th. Yours truly starting 21st. And Sam Smith from Down Under starting in 22nd. 23rd, Rob Swindells. 24th, Bruno Chacon in the second Honda. 25th for Gerard Riant. And then 26th for Kjell Stenbeck, another one-off drive. Last two qualifiers were Simon Wattman in his Ferrari and Jules Bouchard in his Reg Parnell. Several cars added to the end of this grid. 31 cars total will take the start, as we're now looking at the front straight here with all the cars at the other end. Drivers building to a crescendo. And the race is underway. And looking on our left here, you see David Wattman's Lotus, and on the right, Tim Hilla has got a bit of an advantage on him. And oh goodness, a massive shunt involving several cars at the back of the grid. The leaders heading through Copse, blissfully unaware of the carnage behind them. That wreck took out 6 cars, including yours truly. Really disappointing. Here's a replay from Johnny Ace's car, number 26. Everyone seems to get away all right, but if you look up on the left here, you'll notice a green Lotus starting to come back. That is Ray Radal, and he had his car jammed in second gear, apparently, and so he was moving much slower than everybody else, and we all tried to avoid his car, but obviously weren't too successful. Here is a slowed down replay, and you can see the first car to hit Ray and have tires fall off is actually one of the Reg Parnells, and now it's just a case of everybody trying to avoid the stricken cars and the bouncing tires. And there you see the rest of the incident. 2 weeks of prep, and many of us don't even get to go into turn 1. Really disappointing. Anyway, on with the race, and this is still lap 1, and we are looking at Grant Radal. He started in 10th place, and he's up to 5th by the end of this lap. Incredible. Look at him slice through the traffic here as they go into Beckett's. That is Juha Boss he just passed. Now heading through Chapel on the way to the Hangar Straight. I think Grant might have missed a shift there, because here comes Juha back on the inside. We'll see if he can take the position back as they go into Stowe. Now looking from Grant's cockpit view. And oh goodness, Grant had to correct himself there, because here comes Juha on the inside, reclaiming the position. Now we're heading towards Club. And Grant's not going to be able to get alongside Juha here. All right, we've exited Club, and now we're heading towards Abbey. There goes Grant on the outside, trying to get alongside Juha before they get to Woodcote. There's the Daily Express Bridge. Now they're almost at Woodcote. There it is. And they're side by side through Woodcote. Actually, Juha's got an advantage on the exit there. Yeah, great racing between these two. That's one lap complete, heading towards Copse for the second time. Grant still trying to get back around Juha, but let's move ahead now to lap 4. We're with Grant once again. And he's in 4th right now, so he did get past Juha. But look at these Ferraris here scrambling through the corner. Looks like they're lacking in grip there as they exit the corner. And here's Grant getting squeezed near the grass by them, actually. This is really tight and close quarters here as they head now towards Stowe. And look at this, Grant's on the inside. Is he going to get the advantage? Yes, he goes past both Ferraris in one sweep as they go through Stowe. Excellent driving once again by Grant Radal. Now we're into lap number 6, and we're looking at Centorami here. He's following Tim Hilla in the Privateer Ferrari. They head into Beckett's, and Tim slides out to the outside, and that costs him some momentum. Here comes Centorami on the right. Now he's going back to the left as they go through Chapel. Then down the Hangar straight towards Stowe. This is an excellent camera shot right here. It shows everybody in kind of a telephoto shot. And there you see Centorami finally gets ahead of Tim Hilla. That puts him in 4th place. But look at this. I think Hilla might possibly have another go at Centorami here. And yeah, he does. Going into Club here, he gets alongside him and actually gets the overlap. So there goes Tim, taking the position back. Coming through Abbey once more. Towards the Daily Express Bridge. And look right there, there's also a great battle going on between Yuha and Grant. Yuha on the inside takes him. But there goes Centurami once more by Tim Hille and into 4th place. Great driving by Centurami. Now lap number 7. We're looking at Tim Hille here, and he's trying to get that 4th place back from Centurami. Again, you can see the battle there raging between Yuha and Grant Riddall. Tim can't quite get alongside as they go through Stowe. He's got a little bit of an inside line here as they head for Club. See if he can get the overlap here. And they're alongside each other going through Club Corner. Now heading towards Abbey, still side by side. Great racing between these two. Tim hanging on the outside in Abbey, but he's going to be in the right place when they get to Woodcote here on the inside line. Cars enter Woodcote, and yes, Tim Hille takes advantage of the inside line and gets back in front of Centurami for 4th place. Lap 8, Yuha Boss and Grant Riddall still battling for 2nd place here. And while all this is going on, David Watman is just streaking away. He's like, you guys back there, you have all the fun you want. I'll just keep driving away into the lead. Grant still has the edge on the outside here as Yuha tries to overtake him. Downshifting for Club. You notice those pylons on the inside of these turns. Those are collidable objects. They don't cause damage, but it can certainly flip a car up in the air if you hit them too hard. Those barriers in Abbey there are non-negotiable. You cannot hit those. Here comes Boss on the inside one more time as they head towards Woodcote. And this is becoming a pattern here as cars take away the inside line and are able to advance a position. There goes Yuha. Great battle between these two. Now we're going back to look at the Ferraris here, see how that battle is going. Tim Hille in 4th here, and he's being pursued once again by Centurami. This is for 4th place. Look at that, they're still going at it, Boss and Grant Riddall. Let's see if Centurami can get any kind of a footing here in Beckett's, and behind them you'll notice is number 1. And that is Richard Wilkes, and the number 7 of Janik is also back there. So a lot of talented drivers up in the top 5 here. Heading down the straight now, as you can see, there is Grant with Yuha alongside each other once again. Fantastic battle there. And here comes Centurami up the inside. And he takes Hille for 4th. Great driving. And look at that. He takes Tim Hille all the way to the inside there trying to defend his position. But Hille back on the inside. Is he going to take it back? He's, oh goodness. And have a look here. There's Richard Wilkes in car number 1 trying to join this battle. And Brian Janik in his Brabham. Look at this. Janik on the outside of Abbey there. Is he going to get ahead of Wilkes? Yes, he does. Janik moves up 1 position as they head through Woodcote. He's in a Ferrari sandwich now. Heading to lap number 12, and Centurami once again following the battle that keeps raging here between Yuha and Grant Riddall as they enter Stowe. Yuha getting ahead of Grant here. These two just keep trading 2nd place, back and forth, back and forth. Heading towards Club now. Whoops, look at that. See, Yuha goes onto the grass there, and that takes care of him. He loses momentum on the grass. Actually, he's fighting back in the inside here as they go through Abbey. Heading towards Woodcote, but I think Centurami now has the upper hand. Yes, he does. He's leading Boss through Woodcote. Tim Hille now alongside Yuha Boss trying to move up position. And he does, in fact, move up one position there. At least he has it for the moment, heading towards Copse. And Centorami now sets his sights on second place, Grant Riddall. So exit Copse and head towards Maggots. Now Beckett's. Centorami up the inside, trying to take the line away, but he slides wide, and here comes Grant back. Fantastic scrap here. Grant retains second place. Heading down the hanger straight now, and Grant moving to the right here, taking a defensive line into Stowe corner. That's interesting. Downshifting now for Stowe. Now the short straight between Stowe and Club. Is he going to be able to sneak up the inside here? He's having a look, but no, just can't do it there. Now heading towards Abbey. My guess is that he'll have a go at Grant in Woodcote. That seems to be the preferred place to pass on this track, along with the end of the hanger straight. Yep, here comes Centorami alongside, and they go into Woodcote, and there he goes. Centorami finally up to second place. Lap 15, we're back with Grant again, and he's coming back to try to take Centorami on the inside as they go into Stowe alongside, but Centorami has the advantage in terms of momentum on the outside, but oh, looks like he slides a bit wide there. Now Grant has a tiny edge as they head towards Club. And there goes Grant, back into second place. Heading through Abbey. See if Centorami can get an advantage here as they head towards... Actually, here's Juha on the inside of Tim Hilla as they go into... Now he has to slip back behind Hilla here as they go through Woodcote. Hilla looking up the inside of Centorami here, trying to get third place. Everybody in a line here as they go through Maggots, heading towards Beckett's. Here's Centorami on the inside of Grant, takes him once again. And oh goodness, look at that. There's contact between Grant and Tim Hilla, it appears, and Hilla is going to lose all kinds of time here. He gets the car back in the track, but that puts him all the way down in 9th place. Actually, it's going to be 10th here, it appears, because, yeah, here comes Nicholas Kirsten, the Monaco winner, and he's going to slip by too. So that cost Tim Hilla tons and tons of time. Lap 21. Here's Hilla trying to claw his way back through the field. That is Ruben Fernandez in front of him in 8th place. Up the inside here at Abbey. Actually, it's the first time we've seen someone try to pass at Abbey in that fashion. Tim goes the other way and still gets the job done. Brings himself up to 8th place. Now lap 25. This is Hilla once again, and he's trying to pass John Team. This is for 7th place. Heading into Club. And that gives you a pretty fair idea of not only the power of the Ferrari versus other cars, but also of Tim's resolve. He's sent down the order by a slight incident that he had with Grant Riddall, and now he's able to just carve his way back up. Look at the speed advantage there as they head towards Woodcote. No contest. Tim just sweeps right by on his march back to the front. Lap 32. This is Boss battling with Grant once again. On the outside here, going into Beckett's. It's not exactly the place that you'd want to be, but maybe he's thinking ahead here because he knows that, ooh, a little bit of contact there. He knows the next corner is going to be a left-hander. And look at that, yes, he does get ahead. Boss passes Grant Riddall, and that is for third. Now he has to deal with Centorami here. Heading into the right-hander here at Stowe. He swings a bit wide there. Riding on board with Juha now as he pursues Centorami in second there. And you can see that David Watman is nowhere in sight. He is gone. That is due in no small part to the fact that everybody keeps switching positions back here and keeps battling. And he's just streaking away. All right, here we come. Under the Daily Express Bridge up to Woodcote. You've seen this before. There goes Juha streaking by. Back into second place. Lap number 34. Grant Riddall. Passing Centorami there, going through Club. Is Centorami going to get him back here? Maybe. Juha is pretty free and clear at the moment. Well, here we are in lap 35. Here comes Grant on the inside of Juha now. Heading into Beckett's. But once again, situation where you may not be in the correct line for the corner you're in, but you might be on the correct line for the next corner. Now they're heading down towards Stowe. Lots of cars vying for the same position here as there's Grant on the inside. Stays ahead of Juha. Now we're in lap 36. Here's Juha charging on the outside. Look at this, 3 wide going into Beckett's. Juha and Grant touch, and Centorami passes both of them at Beckett's. Fantastic. Now through Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight. This battle is far from over as Janik joins the fray, and look at this. 3 wide now, coming down towards Stowe. Who is going to have the position on the exit? Going to Stowe. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Centorami and Boss. Grant on the inside now. But it still looks like a dead heat as Janik moves ahead of Centorami. Is Juha going to hold the position here coming through Club? Yes, he is. Fantastic stuff. Juha stays in front. Brabham's knocking at the door. Here comes Centorami back. He's going to take a position back from Janik here, I believe. Coming towards Woodcote here. That is a Scuderia Centro Sud they'll have to deal with in a bit, but Juha solidified in front for the moment. Not in front of the race, second place. Now here is Grant, lap 38. Challenging Juha once again. These two passing each other back and forth the entire race. Amazing. There he is on the outside, and he actually takes Juha on the outside going into Stowe. And look at this. Here comes Brian Janik, I believe. Let's see. Yep, there he is. And he's right alongside Juha now as they head into Club. Trying to challenge him there, but it looks like Juha's going to maintain the position. Yeah, he stays ahead of Janik for the moment. All right, lap number 40. And Janik becoming more a part of the conversation here as they head into Beckett's. He looks on the inside there of Wilkes, takes the position. Very well done. Sweeps to the outside. Now heading down the Hangar Straight. And as ever, Grant and Juha side by side. And look at that, he's gotten past Centorami as well there. So that's 2 Ferraris. Fantastic work by Brian Janik. They're heading towards Club now, and it looks like Janik's on the inside of Juha. Let's see if he can pick up that position into third place. And he does. Now he's looking at his teammate in second place. Great drive from Janik. Lap 43. Tim Hilla is right back up with this group. Again, fantastic recovery drive heading through Stowe. And look at that. Juha runs way wide on the exit. And looks like Hilla is going to be the benefactor here. Hilla on the inside there as they go through Club. Now heading up towards Abby. They're still side by side. Wow, fantastic scrap here. And there it is. Hilla finally gets the upper hand as they head to, although look at all these cars heading up the inside here. My goodness. Bunch of red cars charging on the inside there going into Woodcote. Lap 44. Yuha. Looking at Hilla here, who is in third place. As they come towards, actually, whoa, he's got a full head of steam here. Sweeps by. Gets almost the full overlap. Oh my goodness, there's contact there. But they're both okay, and Yuha gets back in front of Hilla. Now watch this. Heading into Stowe. Oh my goodness! Looks like there's contact there between a Brabham and Centurami, and this is going to be a DNF for Centurami, unfortunately. Damaged the car. Lap 50. Wilkes following the NART Ferrari of Tim Hillett. Wow, just powers by going into Woodcote. That is for fourth place. And gets the overlap. Yeah, just there. Just gets the overlap. Now looking ahead here to the ongoing battle for second place. Actually, Hilla there is charging back a little bit as Yuha pursues Grant. Heading into Beckett's. And Grant swings a bit wide there. Now he comes back. Heading down the hangar straight now towards Stowe. And there's Yuha popping out. We've seen this so many times. And it looks like he's got the line. Yes, he does. So Yuha is actually, well, look at this. Here comes Grant back by again before they get to club. Good grief. This battle just does not end through club. Heading towards Abbey now. Yuha decides to slip. Actually, he goes back to the left here. Now he's going to be coming up to Woodcote on the outside. How's this going to work? And look at that! He slips by on the outside before they get to Woodcote. I think that's the first time you've seen that. Grant runs a little bit onto the grass. Coming up to Copps. Both very controlled through here. Yuha just clips the grass on the exit there. Coming up towards Beckett's. Yuha's got the inside line covered very well. Exit. Now heading through Chapel, the left-hander. And on to the hangar straight once again, and Grant's got a good toe here. He's going for the outside. Is he going to be able to sweep by? No, now he goes for the inside. Tries to deal Yuha a dummy. And Yuha swings way wide again on the exit. He's done that a few times. Grant with the edge as they head towards club. Grant now solidly in front. Here we are, lap 54. And look at Hilla, he's up with these two once again. Going down the hangar straight. Another Scuderia Central Sud that will need to be dealt with. As here's Yuha charging on the outside. As they head towards club. Yes, Yuha back ahead of Grant. Let's see what happens here. Hilla's right on the back door of Grant's car. So he may become part of this. Actually, he is. Look at that. He's on the outside there going into Abbey. Actually, right behind Grant at the moment. But now they're coming towards Woodcote. And it looks like he might be able to slip by Grant here as they head into Woodcote. Let's have a look. Yeah, he does. He just gets by Grant as they go through Woodcote. There he is ahead of him, now lap 55. And Grant Riddall is following Tim Hilla and Juha. Ooh, a little bit on the grass there, but looks like he gets ahead of Hilla there, and they're heading towards Club. Yeah, and he passes both of them. Fantastic. This video should have a description that says, do a drink every time Jason says fantastic. I'll see if I can come up with some other adjectives to use here as they come up towards, look at this, my goodness, sideways going through Woodcote, and Grant stays ahead. Now Juha's got Ferraris crawling all over him, and Janik to boot. Lap number 56. This is Janik following Tim Hilla, Wilkes, as they head into Stowe. And look at this. Here's Janik edging up alongside Tim Hilla. Great shot as they're heading towards Club. Is Janik going to be able to get by on the outside and get the overlap? Ooh, just gets the overlap on the exit of Club. Very close. Lap number 57. This is Hilla at the end of the train of cars here, following Janik down the hanger straight. Again, great recovery drive by Hilla to get back with these cars after the incident he had earlier. Now up the inside of Janik, going into Stowe. Copybook pass there. Now setting his sights on Wilkes just ahead as they come to Club. And that appears to be Juha and Grant having their ongoing battle just ahead. Now he's right up with Wilkes as they exit Club. And guys up here may be so preoccupied by their own battle, they may not realize that Tim is charging right behind them. Here's Woodcote. Tim staying right there, waiting for the proper moment to pounce. Right up with Wilkes now. As they head towards Cops. Is he going to be able to get by here? No. Not this time. Now looking from the nose of Hilla's car. A little bit of agricultural driving there with the second place battle. Through Maggots. Now Beckett's. As Juha gets the upper hand on Grant going into this corner. Ooh! Very, very close there, but it looks like Hilla might have gotten ahead of Wilkes there. No, he has not. They're side by side heading down the hanger straight. And Wilkes goes back in front. But here comes Hilla on the inside. He's a little bit boxed in there by Juha, and he gets alongside. There he goes. Now he's by Wilkes. All right, heading up towards Club now. Grant, once again, is ahead of Juha. And look at this. Here comes Hilla, well, on the outside, but doesn't quite... Oh, cars on the grass again. That was Juha. It looks like Hilla's going to take advantage of that. Yes, he sweeps ahead of Juha. And now his target is Grant Riddall as they head under the Daily Express Bridge. Look at this. Here comes Hilla. Is he going to pass all these cars? Yes, he does. He goes right to the front of the train. Fantastic. There's that word again. Looking further back here, we've actually got a Cooper in the mix now. It's John Team. And here's Janik coming along the outside of Maggots. You can still see that gold wheel out there. Yep, it's peeking through. Is Janik going to get him on this corner? It appears he has. Yeah, he's ahead of him now, heading through Chapel. It's interesting. There's so much action up here, but the Coopers really didn't quite get into the battle itself, just on the fringes. Coming now down towards Stowe. Goodness, look at all the time. Oh my goodness! Juha He hits one of the pylons and goes backwards right to the back of the train. Well, we haven't seen that happen yet, but there it is, an example of what happens when you hit the pylons. Lap 61. Now Juha has to make a little recovery drive of his own. That's John Team. Pulls out alongside him on the hanger straight. And that was a relatively easy pass for Juha. That takes him up to 6th place. Now lap number 62, we're riding with Wilkes, and that is Hilla ahead. There was a little bit of contact there, actually. Heading into Abbey now. And look at that, they both must have lifted a little bit due to the contact. And here comes Wilkes. Look at this, 3 wide now. Alongside Hilla, and Grant sweeps by both of them into Woodcote. Awesome. Awesome stuff. But look at this, here comes Grant back alongside. And Hilla's trying to get in there too. 3 wide again. Incredible. Heading into Cops. And look at this. It's going to be Wilkes on the outside that hangs onto the position. Yeah, he's got it. Fantastic stuff. There it is again. Incredible. This race is easily one of the best we've ever had at ISO. Certainly the best of this series. Looking at the Ferraris of Hilla and Wilkes once again from the car of Juha. Taking an inside line there. Following these 2 Ferraris, and Grant is right there, so he can't rest for a minute. Now down the hanger straight. Let's see what happens here. Nice shot of all 4 of them together. The cars fan out, heading towards Stowe. What's going to happen here? And Juha gets alongside Tim Hilla. Excellent. But it looks like he loses momentum on the inside there. No, he did. He got by. This is lap 67 now. Boss going for the inside of Wilkes, and Wilkes slams the door. But Wilkes goes on the grass there, and that, wow, look at that. And I think he actually contacted Hilla there. But Juha back in front again of this group. Lap 69. Hilla has the upper hand on Wilkes at the moment. Heading through Abbey. Here comes Wilkes on the inside. He's going to do that classic maneuver into Woodcote. And he gets by Hilla. Well, Hilla charges a little bit in the outside, but I think, yeah, he's got him. He's got the overlap. Lap number 73. Here comes Hilla back. This is great. It's a battle between the factory Ferrari and the privateer Ferrari. Oh, look at that. Wilkes slides just a little bit on the exit, and that's all it's going to take for Hilla to get back by again. Lap 75. This battle keeps going now. And look at that. Hilla goes on the grass. And again, it's just little tiny errors like that that can lead to a pass here. It's not all about slipstreaming. It's also about keeping it clean and not making mistakes. Now to lap number 78. Back with this epic battle between Grant Riddall and Juha Boss. 2 of the best drivers we have at ISO, fidgeting, fiddling for second place. Oh, a little bit of contact there. As they come towards Beckett's. Boss goes on the inside, and look at that. Grant goes right back by. It's a game of inches with these 2. Now heading down the hanger straight one more time. Look at Grant. He's trying to be defensive, trying to break the slipstream. Heading into Stowe. These two have just been at it the entire race. It's incredible that they can maintain concentration and just keep going at it over and over again, lap after lap. Grant looks like he has the upper hand for the moment as they head towards Abbey. And Juha lost some positions earlier, but he was able to get right back up with Grant. A little bit of agricultural driving there. Here comes Juha on the outside going into Woodcote. Is he going to get the overlap? No, he has to slip back behind. This is lap 79, 2 laps to go. Juha on the inside at Copps takes the position back. There's the Ferraris just coming into the picture. Grant is going on the inside now. He was on the outside, now he's on the outside of Beckett's. And that's not going to work. Actually slides through the corner. Now heading towards Chapel and the hanger straight. He's going to have a good toe here coming down this straight. He might give it a shot here. Juha taking a middle line. Now sweeping out to the outside to take Stowe. These two must be exhausted by this point, and I'm sure their tires are pretty well spent too. Coming up now to Club. Holding station for the moment. Now on the way up to Abbey. Oh no! Grant is out of the race. Blown engine. Incredible! After all those fantastic overtakes and such an epic battle, it comes to 0 for Grant Riddall. That is really too bad. You gotta feel for him after all of that effort. Now we're on the final lap of this great race. Here is the leader, David Watman. The reason why we haven't seen much of him is because he hasn't been where the action is. But he has led this race wire to wire. Here he comes through Woodcote. The final corner, and there's the checkered flag. David Watman wins the British Grand Prix for Team Lotus. A great drive, dominating performance. And here comes Juha Boss in second place. Also a fantastic drive. Juha had to overcome some adversity towards the end of the race after a slight error, but just hung in there all day long, showed true grit and determination, and he's going to be rewarded with second place, a great follow-up to his Belgian Grand Prix win. And right behind him here is going to be, that's Wilkes. Wilkes is going to finish in third. There's your podium. And then we have Team Hilla and Janik completing the top 6. This is Anders Nilsson. We didn't see much of him in this highlights package, but he is going to finish in 7th for RRC Walker Racing. Comes through Woodcote one more time. Crosses the line. There's Ruben Fernandez finishing in 8th place. This is Nicholas Kirsten in 9th. Didn't see much of him either, but soldiering on. He's actually the last car on the leader lap in this race. And this is Cezariusz Lipinski. You can see him through the smoke there. He is going to finish in 10th place. And then there are other finishers. Jules Bouchard, 11th. Adam Hackman in 12th. And that's Grant Riddall. He's going to be classified 13th. Sam Smith, 14th. Gerard Rion, 15th. And the last runner was Simon Watman in 16th. So let's take a look at the driver points. Giovanni Centorami still in the lead with 22. David Watman has closed in at 19 points. Third, Juha Boss with 16. Fourth is a tie between Tim Hilla and John Team with 14. And then Nicholas Kirsten in 6th with 11 points. The manufacturer standings, Ferrari is in the lead with 28 points, Lotus Climax in second with 19, Brabham Climax in third with 18, BRM in fourth with 16, Cooper Climax in fifth with 14, and then Lotus BRM in sixth place with 4 points. Trivia question: who won the first World Championship Formula One race held at Silverstone in 1950? Was it A. Reg Parnell, B. Nino Farina, or was it C. Louis Chiron? Time is up very early in Formula One's history, and if you guessed Nino Farina, you are correct. He doesn't look too pleased on that magazine cover, but he also went on to become the first Formula One champion. All right. So, coming up at ISO, in a little less than a week, the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, round 6 of this series, Sunday, March 22nd. The race starts at 2000 CET, and there will be a highlights package in the days to follow. Whew, wow, that was an incredible race. Thanks so much for watching this highlights package. We hope you'll tune in for the next one. This is Jason White saying, everybody take care and be safe.